All right, Jamie, I am now in a good mood.
We're
Do you know
ready.
why? We're
I do.
rolling.
Yeah, oh, I know why
Yeah.
you're in a good mood.
All right, great. Who wouldn't be in a good mood, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So let's go ahead and start
Sure,
the
it
video
is
off.
still Monday, June 2nd, 2025. This is video 1451 x 8. Do you want to say times 8?
No, it's X8
X8.
because 451 is the
Right.
freeze frame, and then we're going into the 8th video.
Correct.
And once we
Season
catch up to
5.
the 9th video, we'll be on a daily basis.
There you go.
Right?
Excellent.
So-
Episode 1005.
The importance of this channel really stems from my perception of what has been going on. And in my personal opinion, it is extremely important to dedicate actual resources for a project in time format. So resources are money, time, labor, things like that. So what I have done is spent 5 years of my life documenting a very, very intricate process of a human being's decline from a very large respectable position, but that decline did not stem from my indiscretions or poor decisions. It stemmed from my success. Most people don't understand that people like myself are very much afraid to be successful because we understand that our world changes once we have money, power, things like that. Everybody wants to be our friend. But I thought that it would be really a strong, powerful statement to create a social media channel that not only represents my official capacity as a federal agent and a representative of the White House, and I'm not mincing words, I'm saying this as is. I was a CEO of the Rittenhouse trial. In front of my eyes, one of my clients became the Director of National Intelligence, and I have not even tapped any of them, nor will I until the first day my kids go to camp. Because I want my children safe, happy, and out of the way. But I sure as shit will not give up. And it's going to go fast, and it's going to go hard, and it's going to be extremely uncomfortable for everyone who has done the best they could to commit crimes against me and pretend like this channel doesn't exist. This channel completely negates any argument anyone can make of, well, why didn't you say so? Why didn't you say so? What evidence do you have? Well, here it is. And I will now systematically put up more and more evidence
I
leading up
myself
to
look
the...
at videos of you talking in the past and I can't believe I say it all the time. He said it, he's been saying it, nothing's changed, like.
So one thing that is changed is today's motion that we're going to file will change absolutely everything. It is something that needs to be filed only today because I really needed to make sure that the judge and everybody is roped in. I got everyone's attention. I got everyone to make a decision. Are they with Daniel or are they against Daniel? Please, I really appreciate it. So today I will be filing a magic motion because I already have said, hey, do you want to see a magic trick? And I didn't show it because you did not post it. But that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Tomorrow, maybe the next day, whenever I'm in the mood, I will do the magic trick 2.0. But right now I want to make sure that everyone understands what's about to happen. Jamie Resnick is a human being. Jamie Resnick has worked for me for over 5 years. I can't give it away. I can't give it away. It's too good. It's too good. It's just too good. I'm like thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe these gentlemen did this thing. So let's go ahead and let's go to market on what we have in our current state of play.
Okay.
Go ahead and delete this. Erase it. So
Okay.
Fred Davies, by the way, is a billionaire who is currently sitting in prison. And I just wanted, whoa, and Robert Menendez is about to go to prison. Go ahead. And the reason why I say this is because out of these two men, Fred Davies is actually a good guy. I don't think he's a bad guy at all. I actually think that he got the short end of the stick. And I think that I can undo what has been done if he's able to watch this video, contact me, and resolve the issue that we have at hand. And if he's not, he has approximately 5 to 6 years to think about it, and I hope his health stays strong. I do not believe that he should be in prison for as long as he is, and I can easily correct these things if he's able to make good and apologize for what he has done. It is not that difficult. It is not that difficult. Freedom is very precious, and time is so priceless. And I hope you've learned that, Jamie, over the last 5 years.
I sure have.
Excellent. Now, let's go ahead and do a triangle.
Okay.
Okay? And write MM in the center. And that doesn't stand for Mike Mikeson. That stands for mathematical. And do MB right here.
Oh, I know you said MB and I wrote B.
Okay, let's do CC right here, PS right here. So why don't you tell everyone at home what this is and why this is so important for
This is your
from today going forward.
professional triangle, Microbank,
Ooh, professional
Cash
triangle.
Cow, and ProSlay.
Now, what does it mean?
Mathematicals in the middle.
Mathematical. Now, do you understand that this is the extent of my entire business
Yes,
portfolio?
yes.
Okay? Then right here, you write real estate. With a dash before it.
Oh.
Yeah, dashes, yeah. And let's go ahead and test this out. So for example, every single thing that interacts with Daniel M. Reeses can be fitted into one of these 3 points of triangle, okay?
Okay.
Let's go ahead, so we're doing this,
Do an example.
we're doing that chocolate thing that I invented?
Yeah.
Okay, right,
INC.
invention, just invention X,
We're
invention X,
not-
right here, invention X. Excellent. Now, let's draw a line from Microbank right over here. See how that works? Invention X goes through funding, but rather than going through crowdsourcing or venture funding or anything like that, there's one institution that funds small businesses and individuals for transactions that are very unorthodox and creative financing.
There, excellent.
What's that?
I see what you did.
You see what I
Nice,
did?
yeah.
The old reach around.
Exactly.
So I knew that.
That's all it took.
So now let's go ahead and erase this, but leave the arrow.
Erase what?
Erase invention X.
Oh. Okay.
And let's go ahead and erase this arrow and now move it to real estate.
Okay.
You don't have to erase all that, but
I did.
yes. All right, awesome. Now, let's go ahead and go to Cash Cow funds Microbank.
Okay.
Microbank funds ProSlay. And ProSlay customers liquidate and transact through Cash Cow on the physical side. Now backwards, Cash Cow pays ProSlay, do an arrow. No, just an arrow right at the end, right.
Okay.
Best in the business, ladies and
This
gentlemen.
stuff.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
ProSlay interacts and pays back Microbank a
Mhm.
dividend.
Right.
And obviously Microbank fuels Cash Cow. You see how that works?
Yeah, it's like your own recycling thing.
Right, and it's all mathematical. So right here, write MMM. And remember, this is an applied mathematics channel. It's a channel about Daniel M. Reeses. It's about the greatest stories that you've never heard of being displayed on a channel that frankly nobody cares about. A couple of hundred people that are watching this, most of them snickering, laughing, waiting for me to fail. Yet, 5 years later, and they have nothing.
Why 3Ms?
Have you ever seen Bad Santa? The 3 B's?
Yes.
Booze, bullshit, and butt fucking. Well, the 3
But
M's
those
are
are Bs.
those are the 3 B's. The 3 M's are money, mal, and mark. Those are the 3 definitive factors for the old way of thinking
Okay.
before 9 days ago. You know, Mal's my wife. Money is money, and Mark represents all of my former family members that have had zero interest to acknowledge the wrongs that they have committed and simply drink their sorrows through a daily grind of diluting themselves, for lack of a better word, 'cause we're talking about drinking. So the 3 M's, and you know, there's some significance in there, we'll get to that later. But M is a recurring letter, D is a recurring letter, J is a recurring letter. But with 26 letters, the probability of someone like myself who talks all day long and interacts with media and humans on a daily basis to a level that nobody even can comprehend, it's very easy to have repetition. It's very easy to have false meaning. But what's not easy is that I want to tell everyone that it took me 3 years to get to this little triangle right here. And it might seem like it's nothing, but maybe you can give everyone a little bit of understanding of what it's like to go from the insanity of
Right.
having a human being that you work for who's invented so many things to the simplicity of a simple geometric shape in order to represent the entire life cycle of how I plan on generating revenue that is not equity. Equity is in real estate. So when I have a mortgage, that's debt. When I have a value of a property, that is equity because the debt gets eliminated from the value and that ends up as equity. That's not cash. This is, you know what, get rid of MM and write cash. And put a little crown on top of it. Because cash is king. And this is how cash is generated. And that's where my issue is with cryptocurrency. Because cryptocurrency is not cash. That's it. Meaning that it is looked at as cash on the books. It is looked at as a futuristic way to earn money. But, Jamie, what happened this weekend?
I think the guy was.
Pause. What happened to your internet this weekend?
Oh, my internet went out. I thought you were talking about the cryptocurrency.
Now, how can someone
thing.
use cryptocurrency with no internet?
They can't.
So if
It was,
you can solve
I really felt like I was
that
a prisoner.
problem
that
with
I
no
had
electricity, forget about
It
that.
was crazy.
Now,
I
people
felt
don't
so
understand that in a society where cash is in circulation, we still can continue our society, transact, and
Right.
not kill each other, and it's so important. But with a cryptocurrency as the base, our entire society will come crumbling down
Yeah.
within hours of a collapse. All you have to do is change a 1 to write 1/0. If you're a fan of Rick and Morty, then you would know exactly what I'm talking about, because that's how Rick Sanchez topples the intergalactic government. Stay right there. Okay? So, in this sense,
Okay.
if Bitcoin is worth 1, whoever is able to hack the unhackable blockchain, whatever nonsense that is, look, let me tell you something. If code exists, it can be broken, period. 1/0 means that if someone changes the value from a 1 to a 0 and makes all currency worthless in the world, it will completely topple all governments
Meaning
at all times.
if cash becomes.
If $1 becomes worth $0, that's all this is. But in a digital sense, there's an actual place where there's a value to the cryptocurrency. There's no place where there's a US dollar valuation unless you take it in comparison to another currency. So dollar to yen conversion rate,
right,
dollar to
that's
pound,
true.
dollar to Canadian dollar. I made a lot of money doing that. There's a lot of people that work in finance and dichotomies across the
So you're saying
border that do not
there
understand.
is not a comparable analysis between.
How much is
cash-
$1 worth?
$1?
Oh, that's great. How much is a Bitcoin worth?
I have no idea. I don't know
Well,
anything about
you know,
Bitcoin.
$100,000, right?
I don't know anything about Bitcoin.
Unfortunately, the US dollar will always be worth $1. It's printed, it's right there. You can't, like, unless you erase it.
Right.
Okay? Bitcoin can go from being worth $100,000 and you can just delete the 1 from 100,000 and that's what it's worth.
Yeah.
You can put an infinity amount of zeros on there. I'll sell you zeros. The next business is going to be I'm selling zeros to your Bitcoin wallet with no 1.
You're so
It's
angry
just-
at Bitcoin. It's
I'm not angry. I'm angry at the lack of education in our society where human beings do not understand the importance of cash in a digital currency climate.
Well,
The
I don't
value
think
of
that
cash. That's
people
it. That's what
recognize
Perfect
cash,
One was all
period.
about. Perfect One was I was just selling cash back to people. You know why? Because cash is anonymous. Not like creepy child porn, like meth dealing anonymous. Like nobody needs that shit. Like the whole cryptocurrency, black market thing. First off, how much drugs are people buying that they need to use a $100,000 marker? That's number one. Like it's only for drug dealers and like the dark web. Like you know, there's actual people that have vices, and there are people that want to cheat on their wives, or wives that want to get plastic surgery without telling their husbands. And the anonymity is really valuable to human beings because shame is a real thing. So the decisions that they make, gambling addicts, God knows what, the decisions that they make is rooted under a blanket of shame. And that blanket of shame requires a wall between reality and your reality. So when you're a human being who wants to hide their personal decisions from your loved ones and needs them in order to fuel your lifestyle, do not worry. You could always get a prepaid Visa card or use cash or things like that.
Good
But with
point.
Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency, there's an actual digital trail at all times for every transaction you ever do. All So we run tracking devices on human beings that are really being bad boys. So for example, this video is really about two things. The business concepts that I will be launching and taking a pause from filming the videos because we have court tomorrow, as well as understanding that, what's up with these drones? What happened to the drones?
It's your phones.
What happened to the drones, Jamie?
They just disappeared.
They just disappeared. Okay, listen to me, fools. I am okay with exactly what happened with the drones and what happened. What I'm not okay with is idiots who tried to point the drones out to me, write articles, claim that the US government, all this, and a few months later, people act like nothing happened. Because you're scared. You're scared of the reality that Dan knows what the drones are about, but he's looking at everyone and like, wait a second. You are okay with fucking flying saucers in your sky? Like before the election, and then Trump takes office and does not explain this? Am I wrong? Am I the only one that sees like Bitcoin? Fuck that. Tell me why you have UFOs. What are you telling everybody? You have 8 million human beings in New Jersey. I don't know, 4 million of them saw lights in the sky. Is everyone crazy? Now, I move quickly on from the topic.
You do. Woo.
Because it's so important for everyone to understand. We need to flip.
Okay. I know that's boring.
That most people are not able to create 2 minutes of continuous content. I'm able to create systemically over an hour just today, and please understand that we do this on breaks. I don't do this as a figure point of what we're going to be doing today. We don't start our morning meetings like, all right, we're going to film these videos. That's not what happens. What happens is we're filing motion after motion. If you could see the way Casper interacts with me, that is the speed and rate. It goes much faster when it's a digital output in a file format and not an audio. So we go at such a crazy massive rate that no one in the courts can ever keep up. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone in the courts for doing exactly as I predicted. And with this motion that we'll file today, we'll go ahead and put a nice little bow on as a gift to the federal courts and every other fool that thought that they could simply get away with crime because of my persona. The only thing that is going against me is that I am incredibly aggressive and very fast. Those are not crimes. I'm going to repeat this again. Being extremely aggressive and very fast in your thinking, your speaking, and your analysis of the peripheral factors that determine your decisions is not a fucking crime. Me being really smart is not a crime. I was in 5th grade, Jamie, and I was in Harrison. It was, let's say, class of 94. Yeah.
Wait, what grade were you in?
5th grade.
Oh, young kid.
Yeah, class of 94. And every single kid in that class in Harrison Elementary School received a superlative award except me. And that's how sick and twisted of a society we live in, that I realized that teachers who are intimidated by my intelligence, they're scared of my irrational decision-making process, which is both amazing and safe. They went out of their way to hurt a child. And these are tax-funded professionals, in quotes.
The teachers
Yeah, they
didn't give you,
yeah.
like, most likely to whatever?
Everyone got an award.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
All
so
like
sad.
60 kids, yeah.
No way.
Yep. Yeah. It's a true story. See, I
They
only
just
speak the
couldn't
truth.
define you.
And I'll tell you something else. See, on YouTube, I'm able to take the time to really tell people some crazy things that are true. So, for example, first and foremost, I'm not in law enforcement, so when I read about something happening, I like to let the people that are paid money to do their job. Call me crazy. So I had a client of mine, his name was Rafael Lolos. You might want to Google that. He was a client at Perfect Pawn. And for anyone who doesn't understand how crazy my life has been, this is one of thousands of stories. You could ask Jeff Robbins about this one. Jeff Robbins knows Ralph Lolos very well. And Ralph Lolos is, I'll cut to the chase. Ralph Lolos killed and dismembered his girlfriend, who was like 20 years younger than him, and chopped her body up, threw her in the river, spent her credit cards, got convicted, got life in prison. But the craziest part of the story is he was, long before he became a chopper or whatever, I don't know what you call I don't know if it was an axe that he was used, but it was very gruesome and really horrible for the victims. This guy, he was only 7 feet tall. He would come into my pawn shop and do legitimate business. But I found him to be extremely entertaining because he was not like a real human being. He was like a character. He was outside. He was like from an 80s, he was from a 90s Van Damme action sequence where Van Damme is like fighting and this guy is just so big and his face is, if you go to the New
looks like
Jersey,
the character that plays the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk.
he looks like the Hulk,
He
not the
does.
character. The guy is just, and the thing is, he wasn't even a bad guy. He was. Well, I mean, what did I know? Actually, I take that back. He was a bad guy.
He chops someone up. He is not a
Listen, Jamie. I mean, this is a channel for everyone to have a little bit of perspective. So please understand that I knew him in a professional capacity, and furthermore, I want to remind you that I'm not in law enforcement. I'm not judge. I'm not jury, and I definitely am not executioner. So I just want everyone to know that that's just the tip of the dick. The stories that I'm going to be presenting over the next couple of days is going to really highlight some of the most interesting parts of my life, my childhood, and all the facts and truth that I can prove in order to have everyone understand that this job, what was that? Wrap it up? Wrap it up? All right. Well, I'm having a good hair moment right now.
You are.
You're not supposed to say that. Just let it slip. Now say 2 negative things about me.
You're a pain in the ass.
Okay.
And you are very hard to keep up with.
All right. I mean, the second one's kind of a compliment, but Jamie, I'll tell you something. I don't think it's easy to be in a relationship with me, but if you've chosen to do it for as long as you have, I believe that tomorrow will be another day very similar to today. The only difference between today and tomorrow is tomorrow we go into federal court, and Your Honor has some serious explaining to do because I am demanding a basic audience with trustee, judge, and myself. Very simple. My name is Dan Reeses, and Jamie over here says I'm a pain in the ass.